Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. Well, today we have heard from the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, the slowly dissolving state of Ethiopia. I would say Abiy Ahmed is more of the ruler of a city-state, also known as Addis Ababa at this point. Now, obviously, there are functioning aspects of a state that still exist, but by and large, uh, Ethiopia looks a lot different in terms of areas that are currently controlled but by what you would define as a centralized government than it did a year ago. But anyway, Abiy Ahmed has spoken, and it was a very vague speech in terms of specifying that a so-called direction has been set for the basically the further security status of Ethiopia. Again, it was very vague. It did not specify anything that was going to be done. It did not list any objectives in terms of acknowledging areas that have been conquered by the Tigrayan Defense Forces in its creation of strategic depth inside of the Amhara region, inside of the former state of Ethiopia. And that is fairly significant, especially when you do not have the ability to commit to a possible operation, to a possible successful operation that would, in his view, retake areas of the country that have been taken control of by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. And that's very important. And that would lead one to indicate that the level of confidence on further military operations by the Ethiopian military against the Tigrayan Defense Forces, against the Oromo Liberation Army, is quite possibly wavering. We did not hear anything in regards to a renewed, all-out invasion of the Tigray region, and quite frankly, we may not have ever heard that, but we did hear that a year ago, or just under a year ago, in terms of the so-called law enforcement operation that was launched. But I think any idea that the Ethiopian army would be able to, or has the capability to launch a new invasion into the Tigray region is simply is really out of touch, and that capability just doesn't currently exist. Because the fact of the matter is, at this point in time, the war is inside of what you would define as Ethiopia in the Amhara region. It has been pushed out of the Tigray region. There is now strategic depth, and within any operation that the Ethiopian Amharan militaries would need to launch, it would have to first take place inside of the Amhara region. They would need to push back the Tigrayan Defense Forces that are on the doorstep of Dese. They would have to move north, seize control of Weldia, Kobo, Lalibela, Gashina, and obviously Sekota. But they are currently simply not able to do that. I would say that this speech is tempered. Obviously, it has to be, because the world knows, or at least a large part of the world knows, that Ethiopia, that the Amhara region, that the Tigray region are all in this giant civil war that is taking place. And if the state of Ethiopia had the ability to do certain things, okay, and this is very important, if they had the ability to do certain things, they would have already have done it. And yes, the state of Ethiopia, the Amhara region, has been preparing now for about 2 months, if not more, in terms of a major recruitment drive. We understand that they have purchased quite possibly millions of dollars in military equipment from the likes of Turkey, North Korea, and some other shady states as well in terms of arm procurements. But again, 2 months is not enough time to rebuild your army from the defeats that were suffered inside of the Tigray region, and the defeats that have been suffered in the battles around Alamata, Kobo, Weldia, north and south of Mersa, and other areas as well. So it's going to take a significant amount of time for the Ethiopian military to reconstitute itself, if we can even call it the Ethiopian military, at the end of this process. It could be just a Amharan military for all intents and purposes. It's very difficult to say. Things are very fluid in terms of that equation, the relationship between the Ethiopian federal government, between the Amharan regional paramilitary forces, and that divide is continuing, and we continue to see fairly significant fighting that is occurring between elements of Fano, the nationalist Amharan paramilitary group. The Ethiopian military has engaged in direct fighting in the vicinity of Gondar. Again, I would suspect this is about power, this is about assets, this is about control of assets, this is about control of forces. And we continue to hear that there is this divide, this continued divide that is occurring inside of the Amhara regional forces in its relationship with the Ethiopian federal forces. But again, that divide will continue to fragment and break up and look differently, as I suspect that at some point regular Ethiopian units will simply be Amhara regional paramilitary units at some point. And we will continue to see the dissolution of the breakdown of the Ethiopian state, the breakdown of the Ethiopian federal military as this continues. But again, the speech occurred, and again, very vague. So I would not suspect that something major is going to happen. I mean, it's possible. It's possible we could see something in terms of the Eritrean military, but I don't think this would be an all-out attack on the Tigray region in terms of a full-out invasion. I don't think that capability currently exists, and it's going to take some time to reconstitute that ability for that to occur. But we continue to hear about forward progress of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Our understanding is there has been a new push in the vicinity of Sekota, in which Tigrayan Defense Force units are steadily pushing overland, over major terrain features in a south and westerly direction, at times penetrating as far as 70 kilometers southwest of Sekota. So this continued push by the Tigrayan Defense Forces deep into the Amhara region is continuing. The Tigrayan Defense Forces are continuing with offensive operations in varying areas of the Amhara region. We are not seeing offensive operations by the Amhara region or the Ethiopian state to counter some of these encroachments that we have seen. We saw that earlier, especially in the region near Gashina and west of Gashina. We did see a pushback in terms of Amharan paramilitaries around Debre Zebed in conjunction with the Ethiopian military. We did see that, but there appears to be right now a stall in terms of any sort of counteroffensives by the Ethiopian military. There continues to be fighting just north of Dese, and the Tigrayan Defense Forces have firm control of areas from Kobo down to Weldia, all the way south of Wachale, and that includes areas in the vicinity of Hayek and Solula, where the TDF is operating. But if we do see any sort of operation that was possibly hinted at in terms of this vague announcement that occurred, I would suspect it would be some sort of limited counteroffensive in the vicinity of the Amhara region, possibly the southeastern front, possibly the northwestern front, or even the central front, or all three. It's very difficult to say. But again, you have to understand that if the capability existed to conduct such an operation, it would not have needed an announcement from Abiy Ahmed. This is an active war. It continues, and it would have just organically have occurred. There would have been no need for Abiy Ahmed to speechify what he was going to do, and then whatever that were to occur. If they had the capability to do it, they would have done it. And now, could there be some additional capabilities? Could there be an additional area of operations that we could see occur? Possibly, but again, I don't foresee something very widespread nor significant that would threaten a reinvasion of the Tigray region. We also have heard that elements of the Oromo Liberation Army, or a key leadership figure, has either surrendered and or defected to the Ethiopian state. I would wager that in all likelihood there was a transfer of money, a transfer of wealth to this person that was very lucrative, and caused this person to move over to the side of the federal central government at this point, or support the forces of the Oromia region that are allied with the central government. And again, this is usually done in these sorts of conflicts through the use of bribery and the use of money to persuade this person to do, to compel them to do what you are wanting them to do. And in this case, switch sides. And that appears to have been done. Doesn't appear that there was a military victory at some point where this person was captured and his unit was defeated. That's not what occurred. But again, it's interesting to have heard the vaguity of the speech today by Abiy Ahmed, which really hints that we will continue to see the status quo. We will continue to see what we are seeing right now. I really believe both sides have committed themselves fully to this war, and we will continue to see it play out the way it is currently playing out. Again, I will conduct more videos as the situation needs, and I look forward to speaking with everybody soon. Have a great day, everybody.